Have you ever taken a bunch of vitamins in the morning and still felt tired, stiff, or foggy by noon? It's kind of weird, right? You try to do the right thing for your body, you follow the advice, stick to a routine, but deep down, something feels off, like your health is gradually slipping away, even though you're putting in more effort than ever. If that resonates with you, listen up. After 60, your body doesn't process supplements like it used to. In fact, some of the most common vitamins in your cabinet, the ones you've been told are great for seniors, might actually be doing more harm than good. They can cause silent, steady damage that builds up in your liver, nerves, and even your heart. And you might not realize it until it's too late. But here's the good news. You can change this. You can steer clear of the harmful ones and give your body exactly what it needs to feel sharper, steadier, and more alive every single day. In today's video, I'm going to guide you through 4 vitamins that are surprisingly dangerous after 60, and 4 that you should definitely take every day to feel stronger, clearer, and more energized. Stick around until the end because the last vitamin on the list has been linked to a 36% lower risk of death in people over 60, according to a huge European study. This one change could be the difference between just aging and truly thriving. As we dive into this together, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop it in the comments below. And if you've ever felt confused about which supplements are actually helping versus hurting, let's chat about that too. All right, let's kick things off with the first vitamin that might be doing more harm than good, even though most seniors are still taking it every day. It sounds dangerous, but vitamin 1 is harmless, right? Vitamin A, the kind that's found in so many multivitamins. You hear it helps with your eyesight and immune system, even your skin. But what nobody tells you is that after 60, this friendly-sounding vitamin can quietly turn toxic, especially when it comes in the form of retinol or retinol palmitate. See, unlike water-soluble vitamins that your body pees out when there's too much, vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means it sticks around. It gets stored in your liver, your fat tissue, and it builds up little by little, day by day. And here's where age matters. As you get older, your liver slows down. Your body becomes less efficient at clearing out what it doesn't need. So that vitamin A you're taking daily, it's not leaving your body. It's stacking up. At first, it doesn't scream for attention. You just feel a little more dizzy, your skin gets drier, and maybe your joints ache more than usual. But underneath it all, that buildup can damage your liver, strain your heart, and even mess with your vision. The very thing vitamin A was supposed to protect. One major study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that excess vitamin A in older adults was linked to a 25% higher risk of atrial fibrillation, a dangerous heart rhythm problem that dramatically increases stroke risk, especially after 65. But here's the good news. Your body only needs beta-carotene, the plant-based form of vitamin A. It's in carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, and eggs. And your body is smart. It only turns beta-carotene into vitamin A when it needs to. So the risk of overdose is nearly zero. So here's what you can do right now. Grab your multivitamin bottle and look at the label. If it says retinol or retinol palmitate, and the amount is over 700 micrograms for women, or 900 for men, it's time to switch. Choose a formula that uses beta-carotene, or better yet, get your vitamin A from real food. Your body will thank you. Ready to move on? The next vitamin is one almost everyone. Iron is often linked with energy and strength, but after the age of 60, it might be gradually harming your heart, brain, and joints. Most people think of iron as something vital, something you take when you're feeling drained, when your nails become weak, or when your doctor mentions you're a bit anemic. This makes sense for younger individuals or women who can have children. However, after 60, iron can shift from being a helper to a silent threat. The issue is that once you stop losing iron regularly, like through menstruation or injuries, your body loses its natural way to eliminate the excess. If you're taking a multivitamin that still has iron, just in case, you might actually be causing more harm to your organs than good. Iron doesn't simply pass through your system. It gets stored mainly in the liver, heart, and pancreas. When there's too much of it, it begins to rust you from the inside out. This process is known as oxidative stress, and it harms your cells in ways that can accelerate aging, increase
To make
inflammation,
matters
and
worse,
heighten the risk of
many symptoms
Alzheimer's,
of
heart
iron
disease, and
overload
even some
mimic typical
cancers.
aging signs.
Fatigue, memory lapses, joint pain, and irregular heartbeat. Most doctors won't check iron levels unless you specifically request it, and many seniors are unaware that they should. So, what can you do today? If you're on a multivitamin that contains iron and haven't been diagnosed with anemia or lost blood due to surgery, ulcers, or chronic illness, it's best to stop taking it. You likely don't need it. Instead, ask your doctor for a serum ferritin and transferrin saturation test. These two straightforward blood tests will indicate whether your body is retaining too much iron. While you're at it, try to get your iron from whole foods instead. Beans, lentils, leafy greens, and lean meats are all great sources of iron. Your body only takes in what it really needs, especially if you're on a balanced diet. No excess, no accumulation. The reality is that iron can either help or harm you, depending on your body's actual requirements. After 60, sometimes less is more. Next up is a supplement that's been marketed to seniors for years. It's everywhere, in ads, pamphlets, and doctors' offices. But if taken incorrectly, it can end up in the wrong places in your body and do the opposite of what you want. It's likely the most dangerous vitamin 3 recommended for seniors. You hear it all the time. Take calcium to keep your bones strong. It's on the front of multivitamin bottles, repeated in doctors' offices, and featured in every ad targeting those over 60. But here's something you might not know. If you're taking calcium by itself, especially in large doses, it could be doing more harm to your heart than good for your bones. Calcium has one main job: to go into your bones. But after 60, that process doesn't function as well as it used to. Absorption slows down, and hormonal changes along with aging bone tissue mean your body isn't directing calcium like it used to. So, where does all that extra calcium end up? Not where it should. It gets deposited in your arteries, joints, and soft tissues. That's when problems start to arise. Several studies, including one in the British Medical Journal, have linked excess calcium from supplements, not from food but from pills, to a higher risk of heart attacks, strokes, and artery calcification. This means that instead of strengthening your skeleton, calcium is actually hardening your arteries, contributing to the very diseases you're trying to prevent. And there's more. Calcium supplements can also lead to bloating, constipation, and hinder the absorption of other vital nutrients like zinc or iron. And if you take acid blockers, reflux is a common problem for seniors. Your body might not even be absorbing the calcium properly. So what does that leave you with? Poor digestion, no real benefits for your bones, and added stress on your heart. But here's a better approach. Get your calcium from food. Leafy greens like kale and bok choy, almonds, chia seeds, yogurt, and sardines with bones provide calcium in a way your body understands and utilizes effectively. And if your doctor still suggests a supplement, ensure it's paired with vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. These two help direct the calcium into your bones and keep it out of your arteries. If your current multivitamin contains 500 to 1,000 milligrams of calcium, and you're already consuming a calcium-rich diet, it's time to reconsider. More isn't always better. Smarter is better. You don't just want to take calcium, you want to use it effectively. Next, let's discuss a vitamin that seems harmless. It's found in nearly every brain booster and nerve support supplement, but in high doses, especially for older adults, it can cause lasting damage that may take years to recover from, if at all. This one often catches people off guard. Dangerous vitamin 4, vitamin B6. It sounds gentle, right? Something you take for a bit more energy, a clearer mind, or maybe to soothe your nerves. It's in your multivitamin, your brain health gummies, even those supplements for tingling feet. But here's what most seniors don't hear. When taken in high doses, B6 can quietly harm your nerves, sometimes permanently. Unlike most water-soluble vitamins that your body flushes out, B6 acts differently. When you take too much, especially from supplements, it can accumulate in your nerve tissue, particularly in the sensory nerves that manage feeling, balance, and coordination. And once it builds up, it becomes neurotoxic. The symptoms often creep in: a little tingling in your toes, a sense if you're feeling a bit off balance, maybe experiencing a weird burning sensation in your feet or hands that just won't fade. It's tempting to chalk it up to age, arthritis, or even diabetes. But sometimes it's actually the B6. A clinical study found that taking just 50 milligrams a day consistently could lead to nerve damage in older adults. That's already half of the safe upper limit. Yet, it was still too much for aging bodies, and when you start combining that with a multivitamin, an energy booster, and a fortified shake, it adds up quicker than you might think. Seniors are especially at risk due to slower metabolism and already sensitive nervous systems. And here's the tough reality. Once nerve damage starts, it heals very slowly, if at all. But don't worry, you don't have to eliminate B6 completely. Your body still requires a small amount, just 1.5 milligrams for women and 1.7 milligrams for men each day. You can easily get that from real foods like bananas, turkey, chickpeas, or tuna. No risk, no buildup. What you should do is check your labels. If your multivitamin or any nerve support supplement has more than 5 to 10 milligrams of B6 per serving, it's time to reconsider. Unless a doctor has tested your levels and advised otherwise, high-dose B6 isn't support, it's sabotage. Now that we've uncovered the 4 vitamins that could be quietly harming your health after 60, let's change the topic. Because the truth is, not all supplements are bad. In fact, the right ones taken in the right form can completely change how you feel. Let's start with one essential mineral that most seniors don't even realize they're lacking. Let's talk about best vitamin 1, something your body is quietly craving but barely getting enough of. Magnesium. It might not be glamorous, it doesn't get the attention like calcium or vitamin D. But if you're over 60, it's one of the most powerful nutrients you can give yourself because it impacts almost everything that matters, including sleep and heart health. Rhythm, blood sugar, muscle strength, and even your mood can be affected. The issue is that magnesium is quite sneaky. You often don't realize when it's low until your body starts sending out little red flags. You might experience cramps in your legs at night, racing heartbeats, trouble staying asleep, or just feeling anxious or off without knowing why. Here's the kicker. These symptoms often get brushed off as just part of aging, but many times they're actually magnesium deficiency in disguise. As we age, our ability to absorb magnesium decreases. Plus, common medications like blood pressure pills, diuretics, and acid blockers can deplete it from your system even faster. Add in the poor soil quality from modern farming and the reduced magnesium in our food, and you have a quiet epidemic of deficiency. However, when magnesium levels are restored, the difference can be quite dramatic. Seniors frequently report sleeping deeper, thinking clearer, and feeling more stable, as if their body isn't at war with itself anymore. This is because magnesium supports over 300 enzymatic reactions. It helps your heart maintain a steady rhythm, ensures your nerves function properly, and allows your muscles to relax instead of spasm. Now, not all magnesium supplements are created equal. The most common type, magnesium oxide, is inexpensive and widely available, but it's poorly absorbed and can often lead to stomach issues. What you really want is a bioavailable form like magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate. These are gentler on the gut and much more effective. The ideal dosage for most seniors is around 250 to 400 milligrams per day, depending on your diet and health conditions. You can also naturally increase your intake with foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, black beans, avocados, and almonds. But chances are, especially if you're on medication, you'll still need a bit of extra help from a supplement. When you replenish the magnesium your body is lacking, everything just functions better from your bones to your brain. And speaking of bones and brain health, the next vitamin we'll discuss, vitamin D, is actually a hormone, and it might just be the most significant booster for immunity and longevity for those over 60. Best vitamin D3. This one often gets misunderstood. When people hear vitamin D, they think of sunshine, bones, and maybe a bit of immune support. But here's the real deal. After 60, vitamin D3 becomes one of your body's key defenders. If your levels are low, it could be quietly undermining your bones, muscles, immune system, and even your brain. What many don't realize is that vitamin D3 is more than just a vitamin. It's a hormone. It functions like a master switch, activating hundreds of processes in your body, from fighting off infections to helping you absorb calcium properly. However, here's the catch. After 60, your skin isn't as good at converting sunlight into vitamin D. If you're spending more time indoors using sunscreen or living in a place with limited sunlight, your levels can drop quickly. At first, the signs of low D3 aren't very dramatic. You might feel more tired than usual, your mood might dip, your muscles may not recover as they used to, and your balance might feel a bit off. But over time, it can get serious. Research has shown that vitamin D deficiency in older adults is linked to a higher risk of falls, fractures, respiratory infections, and even depression and cognitive decline. A significant review in the British Medical Journal found that seniors with healthy D3 levels had up to a 50% lower risk of lung infections and a 30% lower risk of dying from any cause. That's not insignificant, it's life-altering. The issue is that most multivitamins only provide 400 to 800 IU, which is barely enough to maintain your levels, let alone correct a deficiency. What you probably need is between 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily, especially during the winter months, or if you don't get much sun. And don't forget to take vitamin D3, also known as colosticol, not D2D3, is the form your body actually produces and absorbs best. It comes in capsules, soft gels, or drops. And since it's fat soluble, it's best taken with a meal that includes healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, or nuts. Restoring your D3 levels doesn't just strengthen your bones, it lifts your mood, sharpens your memory, and supercharges your immune defense. And when you're over 60, that's not just a bonus, it's essential. Now, let's talk about another nutrient that doesn't get as much attention but is just as important, especially if you've noticed weakness in your legs, brain fog, or those little pins and needles in your hands or feet. This one is a quiet thief. You don't feel it stealing your energy, and you don't see it robbing your memory. But if you're over 60 and haven't been mindful of your vitamin B12 levels, there's a good chance you're already running low, and it's affecting you more than you realize. B12 is your nervous system's best buddy. It keeps your brain sharp, your reflexes strong, and your balance steady. It helps produce red blood cells and keeps your energy engine running. But here's the catch. As you age, your stomach produces less acid, making it harder to extract B12 from the food you eat. So even if you're regularly eating eggs, fish, or beef, you might not be absorbing what you need. That's why many seniors, even those who eat healthily, quietly drift into B12 deficiency. The symptoms creep up: fatigue that doesn't fade, numbness or tingling in the hands or feet, memory lapses, trouble focusing, and maybe even mood swings or feeling down for no reason. Some people start walking unsteadily or feel like their legs are heavy, and often it's misdiagnosed as arthritis or just aging. But the truth is, it's fixable. Since B12 is water soluble, your body flushes out the excess, so the risk of overdosing is super low. The sweet spot for most seniors is between 500 and 1,000 micrograms per day, especially if your levels are already low. And if it's really low, your doctor might suggest injections or higher doses temporarily to help you get back on track. But not all B12 supplements are the same. Look for methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin. These are the forms your body can absorb best. And if swallowing pills is tough, many seniors find sublingual lozenges, those little tablets that dissolve under your tongue, work even faster and more effectively. If you haven't had your B12 checked in the last year, ask your doctor about it. It's a simple blood test, and fixing a B12 deficiency can be one of the quickest ways to boost your energy, mental clarity, and confidence in your steps. Next up, we're discussing the single most important nutrient for protecting your heart, your brain, and your longevity after 60. And it's not really a vitamin, but it's absolutely essential. Now, this isn't your usual vitamin 4, it's a fatty acid, but for folks over 60, it might just be the most powerful nutrient of all. Omega 3s, especially the types called EPA and DHA, aren't just good for your heart. They actually build the very structure of your brain, protect your joints, and keep your cells communicating the way they should. The research on this is incredible. A huge study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed over 42,000 people aged 60 and up. The result? Those with higher omega 3 levels had a 36% lower risk of death from all causes. That's not just about heart health, that's about living longer, stronger, and clearer. Another study published in Circulation found that omega 3s could reduce fatal heart attacks in seniors by 45%. That's nearly half. It's rare for any single nutrient to have that kind of impact. But here's the issue. Most people just aren't getting enough. Over two-thirds of older adults are deficient in omega 3s, mainly because they don't eat fatty fish like salmon or sardines regularly. And while plant-based diets are healthy in other ways, they don't provide the EPA and DHA that your aging brain and heart require. So, what can you do? Start by incorporating cold water fatty fish into your meals a couple of times a week. Things like mackerel, salmon, or sardines. However, to really get the therapeutic dose most seniors need, a high-quality fish oil supplement that offers at least 1,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily is essential. If you have heart issues or chronic inflammation, that number might need to be even higher, up to 2,000. So consult with your doctor for guidance. When selecting a supplement, ensure it's tested for purity, free from heavy metals, and ideally in triglyceride form for better absorption. And if you're vegan or allergic to fish, don't worry. There are fantastic algae-based omega 3s that provide DHA and a bit of EPA too. Take it with food to avoid any fishy aftertaste, and remember that with each dose, you're not just protecting your heart. You're supporting clearer thinking, calmer joints, and better sleep. It's one of the few nutrients that truly helps you stay you. Now that you've discovered the 4 vitamins that can help you feel stronger, sharper, and more energized after 60, let's wrap it all up with one simple message and a bit of encouragement for your next step. Senior health tips. So here we are. You've just walked through 8 important truths, 4 vitamins that could be quietly working against your health. After 60 and 4 powerful allies your body is likely craving more than ever. The beautiful thing is, none of these changes require a dramatic overhaul. You don't need to throw everything out or start some complicated regimen. You just need a little awareness, a little curiosity, and the willingness to tweak what's already there. Because staying strong, being clear-minded and independent in your 60s, 70s, and beyond isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding your body a bit better than you did yesterday. It's about making smarter choices, not harder ones. So here's a gentle challenge for you. Go check your bottles, flip them over, and read the fine print. If something surprises you today, if a label has more than it should or includes something we've discussed, it might be time to consider a change. Talk to your doctor and ask questions. You deserve answers. And if this video has opened your eyes, let me know in the comments. Which vitamin surprised you the most? What are you planning to change first? I genuinely read every message, and your story could help someone else feel less alone on their journey. If you found this helpful, hit the like button. It really supports our work. And don't forget to subscribe to Health 365, where we share simple science-backed tips to help you stay strong, sharp, and supported every single day. You've got this, and we're here for you.